Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do another story time type video, and it's just going to be me going through my experience and my truth during my 300-hour internship at 102 Jamz in Greensboro, North Carolina in the summer of 2015. So in this video, I'm just going to kind of go through my history with 102, how I kind of went through the interview process, how I got picked, just some day to day things. My first week, literally meeting Ty Dolla Sign like 4 days in. Just some key things that really stood out to me and that made my experience special. So yeah, my prior experience with 102 was literally at zero, y'all. Like, was not from the area, didn't have no family down there. But what had happened was my mom had actually relocated to Greensboro, North Carolina. It might have been the summer. I want to say it was the summer that I graduated from high school and was actually going. So I think it was like the summer that I left to go to college. So while I was staying and going to college at Marshall University in West Virginia, she was up and packing her bags and actually moving to High Point, North Carolina, which is like kind of like it's not geographically sandwiched in between, but either way you go, you're like 15 to 20 minutes between Winston, Salem, and also Greensboro, North Carolina. So right in the heart of it all. Yeah, so she decided she wanted to move to that area, and she, like everybody else, was in tune with the radio station because 102 was just really big in that area. Everybody is just always tuned in, whether it be in the morning for the morning show or like on the weekend for the mixes, the different DJ mixes they would have, or just even just cruising. Like everybody was in tune with 102. Like they have, I don't know. It's just like it was a community based thing. Like they really were integrated into the Triad area, and it was just an experience. Like to even just engage with them like on the radio and listen to them on the radio, and then much less for me to go on an intern with them. But yeah, like it was just a time to be alive is what I can say, and I wasn't even there at the height of it. But yeah, she listened in, and I don't know how, y'all, but she had arranged for me to go on a tour. This is like when I was just randomly down there for like Thanksgiving break or something like that. And she had arranged somehow, some way, y'all, I still don't know. She had arranged for me to tour. I think I took like a friend with me, and we just went around the station and we visited the other radio stations beyond 102 because there was just it was Intercom Communications, I think it was called, was like the main building, and then it had like, oh no, I don't remember. I don't remember all the stations, y'all, but it was like a country station. It was like a soul station, like oldies, and then it was 102, and it might have been some others, but I can't remember right off, y'all. But yeah, so she took me through there. We did the tour, and then while I went back to school, beyond me, like, did I know, but she was basically just networking, like, while I was away and, like, doing my thing at school. Like, my mom was always very social. She could make a friend in a snap. And, like, before I knew it, she already had her little network of people in North Carolina. And you would have think she knew them, like, all her life. So, I knew not to play with her when it came to, getting to know people and making those connections. But I had no idea that she was going so hard for like the 102 thing. So it's getting to be the end of my semester for, I think, was like my sophomore year of college. And I was trying to decide, like, am I going to go back to my regular summer job in West Virginia? Because it was very beneficial to me at that time as well, because that was going to pan out to be like a longer term career thing. But then I also knew that, I should pursue some other things kind of closer to my major, was a lie I told myself at the time. But really, I sometimes look back and wonder, did I make the right decision? Because the job I was working in was like in nature. It was through the National Park Service, and that was more me at my core. But I always had these voices in my head that was like, no, you need to go see the world and try different things, which I'm glad I did. But yeah, I basically started to pursue other options, and my mom was just like, "Oh, well, you should see about getting internship at 102 Jams," and I was like, "Sounds good. I just don't know, where to start." And I'm telling y'all, it was probably within like a week's time. She had an email address that she passed along to me, and she was like, "Send your information to this. Somebody I met told me that this is who you need to contact." And I was like, "Okay, girl, like you're not playing." So I emailed my resume, which I don't know what it was even on it at the time. Like I'm not gonna play myself like I didn't have like skills and stuff like that and like some job experience, but it was probably me like scrounging some things together because I was still like in college. I hadn't had any like major work experience, especially not in my field. So I probably sent that over and then like maybe like something about why I was good for the internship. And not long after that, I got an email back saying that I needed to be at the station on this particular date at this particular time for my interview. So while the semester's wrapping up and everybody's getting like their last bit of schoolwork together, I'm doing that, but I'm also like researching for this interview. Like I'm looking up questions online, like what they might ask me, and like studying down, y'all. Like I was studying down because I knew that if I gave up my original summer job to pursue this and then I didn't end up getting it and I pretty much quote unquote moved to North Carolina for no reason with my mom, then I would have been like, dang, like, but it would have never been for no reason because I would have made it work and that would have just been my life path. But this was my life path and I pretty much just went with it. I got ready for this interview and I practiced. I got home, I got to North Carolina, should I say, maybe like a week ahead of the interview. So I was practicing, like, and the questions were questions that required like paragraph length responses. So I had to really put in the work, y'all. So my interview rolls around and I just remember being so nervous, like in the car beforehand. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like I have to ace this. Like I can't have just to move down here in vain. Because at the time it was given like the whole life was on the line. You know how it is when you're like younger. And I was probably like 20. I would say I was like 20 at this time. Y'all, I hadn't even turned 21 yet. I'm 27 now, so a lot has changed. But at that time, I thought this was like the end all be all. And yeah, I just remember like, I gotta kill it. And I just remember taking like a deep breath and walking in. And there I met, well, before I went in, I saw a young gentleman coming out, and I was like, dang, like y'all don't gotta show me my competition like this. Like, dang, y'all could have had us on a separate day or something. Like, already stressed. Like, competition is getting stiff in here. And I was like, dang, like, okay, it's on for real. And then from there, I ended up meeting Horace Rainey, who was the director of promotions at the time, and he had been there for many years at that point. I'm not sure if he was in that exact position throughout the years or what, but he was intertwined with 102 for many years. He always had like lots of stories about like different celebrities and different experiences and events he had going on and stuff like that. And he was very charismatic and funny, and he was strict though too. He was really strict, and he didn't play. Like he was really blunt. So he was like an older man, and he had kids that were like my age. So I don't know. I just knew that like he was cool to joke around with at times, but I knew he was very serious too. So at the interview, I'm so nervous, y'all, and I can still tell y'all what I wore and everything. I had on like this really business casual like blue dress with like black skirt part at the bottom. Hair was laid, edges was laid, sister. I was ready. And I remember the door shutting and it was just go time. And I just remember just like focusing in on the interview and I was just like breezing through. Like I didn't get stuck once. Like I told y'all I had been practicing. And I remember thinking, like, as I'm going through it, I'm like, I'm doing it. Like, I'm getting my responses out. I'm sounding cohesive. And I couldn't really tell how he was responding to me because I was just like focused on getting through the interview. And I remember him being like, okay, well, that'll do it for today. And he walked me out, and I remember walking out and thinking, okay, like no matter what, like if I got it, if I didn't get it, the interview is over. Like that stress can go somewhere to die because that's done. And I just remember being so relieved. I didn't even care what the outcome was at that point. I was just so relieved to be like done with the interview. So I get home, and maybe not even like an hour into me being home, I get a phone call from Horace, and he's saying that, and it was along the lines of his exact word, and I can't remember what it was. I'm gonna give you a chance. I'm gonna give you a shot. Like we're gonna go with you. And I do remember like throughout the interview, he was just like really trying to figure out like, girl, you coming from the mountains of West Virginia. How did you even find us? How do you know about us? Like that was very much like a topic throughout. And, I was just like being honest. Like I have an interest. I'm in this industry. Like my mom is the one that connected me. Like just be really upfront. And I think it kind of sparked his interest a little bit. And he was like, yeah, like I said on the phone, he was like, yeah, I'll give you a chance. And I was ecstatic. Like, I was ecstatic. I had no idea, like, what was waiting for me. So, about a week or two in between before I actually started the actual position, I went to the beach with some friends and family for a couple of days. Like, just had some time to chill in between. Like, really just basking like in this accomplishment and just being really excited for what was ahead. Like I said, y'all, I was so young at this point. And yeah, my first week came up, and I think it was like a light week. It was like go in and get yet another tour, but also be introduced as what I learned at that time was the intern of the summer, because typically Horace would pick, I think it was between 3 and 5 interns, and he said, no, we're just going to go with you for the summer. So I don't know if he saw something in me at that time that was like, this girl can do the work of 5 people, or what was going through his mind at the time. But I was just like, okay, like, I guess I was like kind of honored at the time, but I was also just like not quite sure what I had got myself into. I always had like that fear of like, did I go too far? Like, was this meant for me? Like, I don't know. So yeah, I think I had like a few days off that week. He was going really easy on me this week, and he was like, "Okay, we got an event on Saturday. It's gonna be Ty Dolla Sign's listening party." I'm like, "Okay, like, I'm listening." And he was like, yeah, just show up at the station. We'll ride over together and we'll set up a few things, and then we'll just pretty much enjoy the party. That's your job for the day, so just enjoy the party. And I was like, I can get used to this. So that day came and we set up, and I just remember Ty Dolla Sign walking in, and I was just like, yo, like, how do I act normal right now? Because I had never even been around a celebrity like that, like in like a relaxed setting, like outside of a concert or something. And everyone else there was so used to it. Like they were just, from the station, they seen celebrities come and go. So they were just like, acting normal as you should around a celebrity. I was just so young and just pressed. But yeah, I was like, okay, let me just hone it in. Mentally, I'm like, let's hone it in. And it ended up being a really cool experience. And I got to take a picture with Ty Dolla Sign and meet him and say hey. And I remember like posting it on social media, and just my friends and family was just going up for me. Like they was just like, wait a minute, like, wait a minute. Because a lot of them, I had went to college and I wasn't really on social media like that. And I just kind of pop out like, hey, yeah, at Ty Dolla Sign's listening party. What about you? And I just feel like everybody was like, whoa, like, how did we escalate to this point? And it's just like, even me at the time, I didn't have an answer. Like, my mom literally set this up and I fell into it. Like, that's just what it came down to. So after that, I just kind of got settled into my day-to-day operations, which were updating the social media, updating the website, and then, Lord have mercy, setting up and executing these remote broadcasts all throughout the tri-state area. So what a remote broadcast is pretty much picking up the radio station and setting it down at like a mobile location, like a restaurant or store, and you just broadcast from there live, and you have people that can pull up and just take advantage of promotional items like free t-shirts, raffles, the chance to say something on air, stuff like that. And my job was to set it up, to mingle with listeners, to help them get their promotional items. And yeah, like one thing in particular we did was we put these bumper stickers that said 102 Jamz on the back of their car. And then we would have like times where we would solely ride around in the 102 Jamz car and like pull them over if we saw them with it on their car, and then we give them $100. So that was like really cool. It was a lot of like fun moments like that, just being out and about. And I wasn't from the area, so I just pretty much got thrown into like North Carolina culture. And you got to think it was kind of like a culture shock for me because I was from West Virginia. Like, there's no black people like here like that. Like, there's not a lot at all. So to see not only like so many people that look like me, but to see them like integrated in this world and this black pride and this full knowing of their identity, and just like to see it so beautifully executed and so much fun and just vibrant, and just I loved it. Like I really did love it, and I got to like to really fall in love with the area and the people there. And there's still people that I've met in that area that I just hold so dear to my heart, just from that time period and beyond. It was really nice. I really did like the people, the interacting part of it most of the time. So also in the midst of like doing this day-to-day stuff, I am putting together a report and keeping track of everything that I'm doing, all my duties and stuff like that for my report to send back to my college or whatever, so that I can actually get the credit and keep track of my hours and stuff like that. So it would be times where I would like have to step back and actually go work on the report, because it was like 15 pages, y'all, that I had to do on top of me like having to work. And let's be real, y'all, this was an unpaid internship, child. Abolish unpaid internships, because I almost didn't survive. I really could not afford to eat some days, and not even afford to get to the location some days, because where was the funds coming from? And yeah, so I worked unpaid. I can't stress this enough. Sometimes 10-hour days. It could be like, we could start out really administrative in the morning, like me updating social media and stuff like that. Midday, be out doing a remote broadcast, and then into the night could be setting up for a concert, trying to get social media. And these would be like pretty big concerts at the time that I was going to. Like, oh my gosh, like always had access to like different tickets for different people that were coming through. And it was a really, 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 really cool experience, y'all. I can't hardly put it into words. Maybe that's why it's taken me so long to be able to do so. But yeah, that was really a great time in my life. Um, some of the things that I really liked, like I said, was I just liked the area a lot. I had never really been there before, and I really got to know and love Greensboro, Winston-Salem, all of that. I also really liked just the being able to get fully enmeshed in my craft. Like, I felt like I had a sense of purpose, because at that time I really did want to be like radio broadcast. I just felt like, wow, like I'm fully immersed. Like, I'm actually in studios. I'm actually doing promotions for a radio station. I'm actually in sales meetings. I'm actually like in the like studio with the DJ while they're like broadcasting. Like, I'm seeing it. Like, I'm totally enmeshed. So that was always really, really cool. Things that I like didn't so much like was, I'm an introvert, y'all. Like, I'm introvert down. Like, I be shy for real. So there would just be days when I was like, I can perform. That's the thing. I'm introvert, but I can perform extrovert activities when necessary. There's a lot of that when you're in journalism, depending on which field you're in, because I found the loophole. But yeah, at that time, I just was constantly having to socialize. Like I said, I love the people, love the culture, but it was just like, I don't know, y'all. Like, I used to get reprimanded by Horse for not like speaking up, or for not being social enough, or for like kind of wanting to recluse, kind of wanting to do more like independent work off to the side. He would just kind of be like, you're not gonna make it, pretty much. Like, and I don't. I mean, you could take that as harsh or whatever, but I mean, he was just being upfront. Like, and I'll get more into that later. But it was just like, it's not an introvert friendly industry. Not in that specific area. I don't know, it might be different elsewhere, but not in that specific area, because the girls in the tri-state area, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, ready to turn up at any given time. So also, I had a lot of difficulty with like the communication between me and my school, because we had to like track our hours like as we went, like throughout the summer. So sometimes I wouldn't be hearing nothing on the other end, like at my school, and it's just like, girl, I know you wanted me to go to like some basic like news station down the street from the school and like learn the same thing and then have zero chance of getting a job there. But girl, I went and did something else. Like, I chose the path less traveled by, like states away. So if anything, you should be hitting me up to see what I'm bringing back, what type of info I'm bringing back. But they just was like not that communicative. Like, I had to really like be on them from a distance, and it made it stressful because, like I said, I was always at work. Like, I didn't know if I don't even remember like having too many off days, y'all. Like I said, it was like 10-hour days, and then it would be like, I didn't have no set schedule. Um didn't have a set schedule, and then didn't have any money, and those things couldn't be like combated because of the other. So it was like, I couldn't get a job because I didn't know what my schedule was going to be. I literally could go to the station one day and do a day's work, and then be told at the end of the day, come back tomorrow morning at this time. Or I could be told, hey, we'll see you on Wednesday. Like, it just depended. I didn't know. I had no real set schedule, so it's like I couldn't pick up a job in the meantime. So I kind of was like stuck. I had to rely on my mom a lot, but she really must have loved me, because she made sure I was fed. She made sure I had gas in my car, and she didn't even have it like that. So if she wouldn't have been there, I don't know what I would have done, for real. Um, but yeah, and then another thing was that they was coming for me for my accent. Like, when it came to me like recording promotional things for like commercials and stuff, and like editing them and stuff, like they would just be like, girl, your accent is a little too country. I'm like, y'all are country as hell. Like, I don't know if it was because I had more of like a like Appalachian twang, child. I don't know, but they used to tell me like, girl, this is not gonna work. Like, you need to re-record it. You need to tone it down. And I was just like, I guess, y'all. Um, Other things too, which I'll get into it down the road a little bit more, is I don't quite understand, and I will never understand the concept of like the whole. I don't even know how to put it into words. I will never understand like the concept of like belittling the intern, or like making them do like tasks that are like trivial. Like, I never got that. I never got that. I only had one experience with that, luckily, at this internship. And it was when I started working with the talent, the actual like um 3 Live crew at the time. I don't know if that's still going on, but they was on the morning show. They was like the biggest talent at the time. And I got sent to work with them for like the last week of my internship. And I was like kind of looking forward to it, but I also, again, I didn't know what I got myself into. And there was an instance where I got sent to go do the whole go get us food thing, and then I forgot somebody's drink and got sent back out on my dime, unpaid internship, to go get food again. And it was just like, what did I like learn from this? Like, I didn't learn anything from that. Still to this day, I didn't feel any more interconnected to my craft. I didn't feel uplifted. I actually felt horrible. I felt like dirt for real. Like, I honestly don't get why people do that. I mean, if that's what happened to you, I'm sorry. If somebody treated you like that as you was trying to climb up, I'm sorry, but I don't understand why an innocent person that literally just wants to be like, just don't understand why a person that's like here to like learn from y'all and like take y'all in is like being treated like a little child. I don't know what I was being treated like, but it only happened once, and the energy was just trash. And it still has stayed in my mind today, not as a testament to like work ethic or what it means to get to the top. It actually just, I still just have like a really bad taste in my mouth kind of towards it, because I just thought that was, I would just never do that. I would never do that. And if you do that to interns that are already under so much stress and like working, and then like most of the time not getting paid, and that's the approach, like, what, I just want to know what's the like, what is the point? Like, what's the intention behind that besides to like exert power over someone in that moment? Because it doesn't really do anything else. So yeah. But that was just one time, y'all. That was just one. So that was my only like major like trash moment as an intern. um some key moments that are really cool though is that I did meet my friend Katie, and we are still friends to this day. We actually met through the internship. He actually wasn't an intern, but he was like someone that would poke in and just kind of like, he didn't go to school at the time, but his work ethic was just like crazy, and he was just really wanting to get into journalism. So they would like let him like come help out at events and stuff like that. And he happened to be at like a kickball fundraiser one time, and I was just over it on this day, y'all. It was so hot. I was tired. I was just probably like in the heart of the internship. Like I said, y'all, sometimes 10-hour days. And yeah, like he had overheard somebody say I was from West Virginia, and he came up to me all hype. He was like, "Oh my God, are you from West Virginia? I got family up there." Like, I had never heard that. Like, that was the first person all summer that was like, that even knew West Virginia was a state for real. So I was just like, okay, cool. We ended up like hitting it off, and he was just like really, really funny. And he kind of was like somebody that was on my level for the first time within this role, where I could kind of like vent a little bit too, and he would like understand me. But he wasn't like always there. He would like pop up every now and then, and I would always be like, yes, like, first of all, yes, like, I got some help to carry all this equipment and stuff like that all the time. And then it was just nice to have like a friend to kind of like take the edge off. And I didn't get so much of the heat because I just, they was on me a lot. They was on me a lot for like my lack of social skills, and just me being like so out of their network, and just like, I don't know, I just feel like I was really like foreign to them, even though I was just like 2 states away. Like, something about me was just very foreign to them, and it's like they would get a kick out of it, but then it was sometimes like rub them the wrong way. Like, I couldn't get a feel for it. Then on that same day, y'all, I met Emmanuel Hudson at the same kickball fundraiser, and he was honestly like so down to earth, like one of the most down to earth celebrities I came in contact with during that time. And it wasn't like that I just got to like meet him and take a picture. It was like I got to like meet him and kind of kiki with him for a minute. And I was like, oh, like he's actually like really, really cool and funny as hell. Like, I have this video of him like throwing a fit because he was losing, his team was losing, he was like chewing them up. And I just remember like him being like a bright spot of that day, because y'all, I was really stressed on that day, but that was always cool. And at the time, the station was very integrated with Wild 'N Out, because B Dot from the Three Live crew was on the show at the time. And it would be nothing for me to like come into the lobby in the morning and see like Chico Bean and other cast members like sitting on the couch and stuff. So that was pretty cool. Then there was a time when, after the Three Live crew finished traumatizing me for the rest of my life, they allowed me to be on air. So that was really cool. I don't remember how it came about. They were like doing like a skit or something, and they let me announce the winner or announce the results of some poll or something. And I remember like KD was so hyped because he was actually listening at the time, and he was like, "You made it! You got on air!" He was like, "Nobody gets on air! Like that's crazy!" And I was like, "Yeah, like, that is cool." My mom was hyped for me, and I was like, "Yeah, awesome." Another moment, y'all, like I don't know why I can't forget this, but I will never forget the time we did like an event at Popeyes, child. And they gonna say at the end, like they was like, "Oh, y'all can go and order whatever y'all want." Like at the end, like we was done with the broadcast, we had packed up, and they was like, "Yeah, go order whatever you want." And I think this might be my first time eating Popeyes, so I went in, y'all. I just remember the chicken was hitting exactly how it needed to after that long day, and I just, like I said, first time trying Popeyes, got to get whatever I wanted, and it was just hitting the way I needed it to. And I don't know, y'all, something about that day. So my main takeaways was my mom was so proud of me. Like she had literally went out of her way to get me in this position. Then I got into it, and then I rocked it, and I actually like got all 300 credit hours and went on to graduate. So it was like she did all that, and it wasn't in vain. Like it actually was something really positive that came from her efforts. So it was really nice to be able to make her proud. And yeah. Another thing is the skills. Like a lot of those social media and like website design skills that I learned throughout my time there, I use them now for my own personal ventures, my own publication. Like when I'm putting out stuff, like I'm realizing those skills came about from my time at 102 because that was my first time like actually assessing the process of how a brand would act on social media. And they had a huge following already because like I said, the community was like already tuned into them. So they had lots of engagement. So it was just a lot of lessons about how to promote yourself consistently as a brand, figure out what your audience is, figure out what they're wanting, and also like to build up engagement, like things like that. The act of creating something is one thing, but being able to put it in a post and summarize it in a really like not only engaging but like witty and like inviting way, like that takes a skill. And I do feel like I developed that over the time there. And then, like I said, lots of website design skills. And this internship actually helped me in my first role with my first publication when I worked as not only a crime reporter, but I was a digital media editor, which I had talked my way into that position. I did not have the qualifications. But luckily, through the skills that I learned internship, not at my university, which we'll get into that in another video, I was able to like navigate that job and actually do really well in that position as well, based off of the skills I learned through the internship. So that was cool. Then I learned too about the power of clout and influence. Y'all, like where I came from, clout and influence don't really do anything for you. Everybody is impoverished and focused on survival on a day-to-day basis. Like clout ain't gonna get you nothing around here. Clout doesn't mean anything in the mountains. So it's like to go somewhere where clout and like social capital influence could really help you actually generate like real capital, real like financial gain, could get you in certain doors, could get you meetings with certain people, could like ultimately put you in a better financial standing, like based off of like the clout that you're able to generate. That was insane to me. Like that was a new like concept to me. And it's interesting now when I look back to that, like a lot of the people that were like hot celebrities at the time that I met during that internship in 2015, like they had a lot of social capital at the time, but it's like, okay, let me put it like this. They had a lot of social capital at the time, and there was a lot of people that were trying to like get next to them, trying to connect with them, trying to do like business things, just wanted to be seen with them, wanting to have exposure brought on from being with them. And now it's like they don't have any of that. They're not, no, nobody's really talking about them. Not a lot of buzz about them. And it's just like nobody's checking for them. So it's just crazy for me to realize and look back at like how much that clout and influence can really like dictate who is pulled into you, what they offer to you, things like that. And my mom was just blown. The other thing is that it just simply wasn't for me. Like when I got into the meat of it, I was like, yeah, I'm too introverted for this. Like I could probably do like a DJ shift. Like I said, I know how to turn my introvert and extrovert off. Like I probably would have done really well with like a disc jockey set for 1 or 2 hours out the day. That part of radio where I just like do my little set, play my music, say what I need to say, get hyped for 2 hours, and then cut out and go recluse somewhere for the rest of the day. I probably would have done okay with that. But having to be like the face of a brand, having to be out there and socializing all the time, it's not for me, sister. And that has a lot to do with why I actually ended up graduating from college with a print journalism degree, because I was like, no cameras, no, I don't want nothing. I just want to be able to find me somebody, talk to them face to face, get my notes, talk to them on the phone if I can, babe, get my notes and write. There is no like needing to get camera ready, make sure I'm coming off a certain kind of way, or present what I'm gonna say to somebody to draw them in. Like none of that. It's just like I had to go to Prince to just cut that out, because I'm not an extrovert at all, y'all. Yeah, it was an amazing experience, and I would not change a thing if I could go back. It was really eye-opening and showed me a different side of life, and I will never forget the kindness that was shown from the people I met during my journey, and people that I still stay in touch with today based off of that. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for letting me go through this and reminisce. And I hope it was enlightening and inspiring. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.